So a new year, 2022. I think we're in for a big set of changes this year, mostly stemming from economic conditions. As part of your self-defense, I would urge you all to get your financial things as consolidated as possible. I think we're going to have a wild ride in 2022. I think of these kind of things from a martial arts perspective. When I read the news, I won't say newspaper anymore. I don't know when the last time I actually read a newspaper was, but when I look at what's going on, I always try to look at it through the Taiji lens. You know, I think these principles are universal when we start looking at core principles, the idea of yin and yang, the balance of yin and yang, which seems to be there in virtually everything, you know, night and day, just coming out of the depths of winter now, the great extreme. And then we'll get to the middle point, and then we'll go to the next great extreme. I want to illustrate a point, and I think it's a really important point. So let's look at it with a horse stance. I'm in the middle of the stance, then I go out to an extreme. Then I'm in the middle of the stance, and I go out to the other extreme. The middle of the stance here is the Tai Yin. I'm not to a Yang extreme. But then I go out as far as I can go, as far as I can go, as far as I can go, and I hit the Tai Yang. If I go any further than that, I break the stance, and we're no longer talking about a stance. Insofar as the stance is concerned, this is as far as I can go. When I come back, for example, here to the middle, I'm in the Tai Yin, and then I can go out to the other extreme. Yin and Yang are not based on the leftness or the rightness, the forwardness or backwardness of it, or even the summerness or the winterness of it. When we get to summer, we're in the extreme hot period. You can't get more to the hot. When we get to winter, we're to the extreme cold. We've gone as far out in coldness as we can go. It doesn't mean that because it's cold, it's yin, and because it's warm, it's yang. We can look at it that way. That is by far the most common way to look at it. But what I'm suggesting is that what we're looking at is how far to the extreme we can go in either direction before it breaks. If we went to 70-degree temperatures in the summer, Celsius temperatures, that would be the end of us. If we went to 100 degrees below zero winters, that would be the end of us. There's a natural range in which life can occur. There's a natural range forward and a natural range backwards. If we go too far back, then the stance is broken. If we go too far forward, the stance is broken. Let's say we went all the way forward in the stance, and then we tried to go past that. And then to add more, we threw the waist in there. And we go so far, we can't even strain that far. And then we got some friends to start twisting and torquing us even further than we could go. Well, eventually, things are going to break. That's 2022. That's where we're at in our economy right now. We've had this massive stimulus spending for now since 2008, when the economy should have actually crashed. And now we're at that point again. So why do I say this? Why do I mention this? It's got nothing to do with the Tai Chi class. I only mention it because I do love you all, and because this is very important, and because we're possibly in for a lot of pain and suffering. I also say it because this is a Tai Chi class, and we're looking at Tai Chi principles. Everything in Tai Chi is a lesson about what is yin and yang. How far does it go before it becomes its opposite? And we're living in a world and in a society, a set of societies really, that seem to all have made the same agreement. And that is that the natural rules and laws of yin and yang don't apply to us. We can go yang forever and it's going to be just fine. But we all know just through common sense. I want to say that as Tai Chi thinking people in what I believe is going to be a crisis year. Early in this year, later in this year, or maybe early next year, I don't know, but I think it's coming soon. I think it's even within the next few months we're going to start to see big shaky stuff happening. This is a time to consolidate. Don't have a lot of debt. Don't be overextended on what you owe. Don't bet on zero interest or all of that stuff. Consolidate. Have real things to depend on rather than imaginary debit sheet instruments. You know me well enough to know I wouldn't interrupt a class like this to say something like this if I didn't think it was really critical.